And we are back. Sorry for eating, I just had to get a snack. Hey Bob and Peter, welcome back again. Is there anybody that understands or speaks Turkish? How would you pronounce that? Gökçen or Gökçen or... Dankeschön, Rita. Right, so we are in the iFly 737 MAX. And we're flying to Samos, and I've just rearranged the routing a bit. So if you are planning to join, I will be on VATSIM very shortly. But I have changed the routing just a tad. And let me just pre-file that. Departing flight level 320 looks good. Let's file flight plan. And Codain, hello to you. Careful not to do a face reveal. Lol. Hang on. So let's zoom a bit. And then... So apologies, yeah. I honestly don't know what's going on with OBS. So let's say please refresh. So it's, I don't know, it's not as if my system is kind of maxed out right now. It's it has to do with the software itself. I have a feeling that the latest version is bugged somehow. Yeah. Yeah, eventually it's yeah, apologies again. Apologies, but yeah, the latest update here, the OBS software, the streaming software. Yeah, if the disconnect isn't for too long, then on YouTube it's able to recapture that previous stream or the original stream. Yeah. But anyway, let's not force the OBS again. Let me just go ahead, have a quick look here. It looks nice, like a nice rendition of the airport. And again, I bought it with my own money, so I have no connection to the developer. Yeah, quite like how one of the or the first levels is modeled. Yeah. I can also show you nighttime lighting real quickly. If you're interested. Yeah, that looks also very nice. Nicely balanced lighting. Runway lights. Yeah. Yeah, looks nice. Like it. Is this the old airport? Let me have a look. I don't remember. Is this the... Didn't it have 2 runways? Or is that like a completely separate airport? I will just check that in a minute. No, that's not the old airport. That must be a completely different airport, right? Yeah. No, this is not the original. Yeah, no, it's not that one. So if you look at the location there of the airport, So here you got the new airport. That was the old airport here, Atatürk. Yeah, that was called Atatürk. That was the original airport in Istanbul. And so this one is located more to the southeast of the center of Istanbul. So, yeah, so it has to do... Yeah, Bruno. It has to do with the scenes. So whenever I'm changing scenes, like with the camera or with the SimTuka Pro overlay, it crashes OBS. So it's definitely definitely an issue with yeah. Hey Organ, it has definitely something to do with the software. There's something really wrong. I need to reinstall an older version maybe. Yeah. Yeah, and Bruno, I am using that HEVC coding. All right, anyways. So we'll leave the OBS at peace as it is, okay? And then we'll see how we get on. Now, controls. As a new livery, of course, now I have to... no, Cargo Pilot, I'm not. No. Tomorrow, I still have lots of things to do with my children because my younger daughter has moved house or flats. So tomorrow, I have to help with setting up curtains and setting up furniture, etc. So, unfortunately, unable. Yeah, Organ Aviator, I flew as well with the FS Labs on previous stream, you probably know. And I didn't have any bigger issues flying-wise. It felt nice as well. Sure, as always, room for improvement on the avionics side, software side. But what I like about FS Labs, and again, that's just something personal, I like the integration with the tech logbook and CPDLC, PDC, the EFB, and so on. I know it's always down to personal preference, but I don't know. I've flown so many, well, I've flown FS Labs for such a long time. Okay, nice. It's cool to get some infos from the FS Expo. So we have now the announcement as well. Builds are looking at an A340-300. Interesting, because I know that there's people that really want an A340 in Microsoft Flight Sim. Hey, so Wilbur, no. So my daughters, I have two daughters. One is going to be 29 in December. The other one just turned 26. And so both of them don't want to become pilots, although my older daughter actually has an interest in aviation. So she is thinking about getting at least, I don't know, either going glider flying or getting a private pilot license at some time. So that's as close as they will get. One thing I find extremely annoying here in 2024 is the control setup. Like, why? I understand it's downloading it, isn't it? But, it just takes ages. Really dislike. I know it's 777, but that'll do. That'll do for me. So now yoke. Yeah, MAN. The thing is, though, I mean, it's always down to character and yeah, I mean, they saw me, so that they didn't. Well, I mean, they saw that I was away so often from home that obviously, that's definitely they saw the downsides from that, right? So it's a big negative, and for them, they said in their life, they just don't want to have that. They don't want to be separated from the family for too long, etc. So, So that should be okay. And then lastly, we'll do one more thing here. Oh, the interest in aviation. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So whenever I have my daughters along with me on one of my flights, the older one always wants to sit on a jump seat, but the younger one, she says she prefers to fly in the passenger cabin. She says it's too much going on in the flight deck. So bells and whistles. She doesn't like that. So. Right, does that work now? That works. Cool. Alrighty. Let's get, as always, battery power on. I'm going to check the landing gear lever, flap lever, spoilers, fuel control switches, wipers, all looking good. And then let's go into the EFB. Let's initialize the flight. Let's go system page, sim menu, ground support. Let's get connect set. And then we'll have the ground power on. Let's start. Aviamar, yes, on certain routes. So of course you have routes that are completely restricted, like to Canada, UK, and the US. There's absolutely no exceptions there. And then there's other countries where you can get some exceptions.
Welcome aboard the Captain Blackbox YouTube channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Organ Aviator, thank you so much for your support. That's really kind. A big shout out again to Organ Aviator. If you don't know him, he also streams on YouTube. Please check out his channel. Thank you so much, Organ Aviator. Yeah, Cargo Pilot. Okay, so where are you going tomorrow? Oh, Takeoff too. Yeah, you said, right. Yeah, hey, you know what? If you have some pictures on my Discord, I always appreciate some pictures there. Why is that so... This aircraft... It's not streamed, is it? It's installed. Why was that blurry just there? That's strange. Again, look at that. Huh? How can that be so blurry if it's streamed? I don't understand it. It's not streamed, it's actually installed. Now that's strange. SU3 will fix that? Okay, thanks, Bruno. So we initialize the flight. Route. Request flight plan. Let's see. Allow. There we go. Invalid. Hang on. Let's try that again. Request. Do I have to enter that again? Nah. Hang on. I don't. Do I? System page. ICARS. Yeah, that's my ID. Do I have to do that here, like Fox Juliet? I don't, do I? Yeah, Dankeschön, Cargo Pilot. Enjoy. Wrong app. No, I did. It's a Max. 737 Max 8. Alright, well, we'll enter it manually then. Yep, that's the one I had. But that reminds me, I have to log on to VATSIM. Colorado, hello. No, so I just heard Colorado, so thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I did hear about the A350 ULR. And then somebody's saying that they hinted at A340-300, yeah, and people, of course, are getting excited, yeah. So now we are called B38M, correct? Yeah, max 8. There we go. 7347. Connecting. And then what I'll do is I have to get FS traffic again and just remove the traffic here. Otherwise, it can have quite an impact on performance. Now, I would be very surprised if anybody flew along here. The FS Labs 321 was nice. Yeah. Didn't have any bigger issues. So, yeah. I'll definitely do more flights with it, for sure. So we caught Turkish Airlines, so Turkish 7347. Then... Now, again, I'm going to try again. Request flight plan. Invalid route, I think. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what's happening there. Anyways, so let's go page number 2. It's going to be via Ivgus. So then it's going to be Uniform Yankee 227. And then Uniform Golf 80. Then Uniform Romeo 32. Izmir. And then Hotel 59. Nissos. And it ends at Ormos. And then we'll do the arrival again. Now let me have a look at now one thing that's really really strange. Okay, so I'm gonna go now. I don't want to call up SimToolkit Pro or the Volanta because obviously I'm afraid that's going to crash OBS. So I have to do it this way. So we have 48 minutes flight time. We're going to fly level 260, and we have weather. Here we got 030 at 11, so we'll take 06 departure, 25 1012, and then we have Samos today, 010 at 8, so 09 circling then, fantastic. 33 degrees, blimey, and Athens is the alternate. Cool, alrighty. So, departure arrival. Now, regarding the... let's go menu terminal charts here. Let's do that. Then edit clip. So, we want that. And departure... Oh, what's happening? Hang on, I have a feeling something's not connected. I don't know how else to connect it. And then we'll do it again differently. Navigate charts app. So there we go, that's the routing. So here we have Istanbul, down here Samos, and let's have a look for the taxi airport. So we're located here. We'll take 06 left then for departure. That's going to be the easiest, all right? So... Let's just have a look at the flight plan again. So then it's going to be the IFGUS departure. So IFGUS. Wow, look at the departure routes. My God. IFGUS. So that's for runway 24, right? We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. All right. There we go. That's 6 right. Hang on. We're getting there. Yay! 6 left. There we go. So it is the IFGUS 1 Juliet departure. Initial climb 7,000. Transition 12,000. All right, let's do that. So departure, 6 left, 1 Juliet, execute. Then we'll have a look. That connects, fantastic. And then arrival, we'll do the VUR approach, 09. And that's going to be this arrival via Deluxe, execute. Let's have a look. Fantastic. Cool. Let's do position in it. But we have to, of course, do this to align. Hey, Brett-san. Yeah, I know people now a bit apprehensive, regarding indie builds, right, because of the problems that we've seen. But I'm more. I know. So what I normally say is don't buy the add-on straight away. Always wait a few days until you have some reviews, right? You've seen some streams, and then. You have a much better understanding whether or not, an add-on is for you or not. 1012. Let's reset that as well. Yes, thank you, Brett-chan. How are you? Nice to see you. So now we can do the alignment. Let's go GPS position. GPS left, that in there. Cool. Man, I'm struggling again regarding the setups, right? So performance. Let's do weight and balance. Unfortunately, I can't pull in the data from SimBrief, even though the SimBrief ID is correct. I can check again the... Yes, Bravo 38 Mike, aircraft info. You know what? Maybe the problem is the engine variants. Maybe it has some issues with that. So if I look at the engine variant, it's a 28 kilo pond. So that's this one here. Generate the flight. Let's see if that works. India selling cabins? Are they really? Yeah, so I don't know what the problem is. Why I can't. Let me try that. Let's initialize the flight again. System page. So sim menu. So that's correct. And then correct me if I'm wrong. What do I have to do first? First, normally I would have to get that in the FMS, correct? €13 a pack. You're joking. Wow, okay. No. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, guys, regarding the uplinks with SimBrief, but it's not working. Anyways, then what we'll do is we got the values here with 0 fuel weight, so let me just put those values in. So we are looking for a 0 fuel weight of 61.3. So if I put 165 passengers in here, and then we'll have 2 tons of cargo, then we should be close to that. Yeah, that's fine. Set the payload. Now fuel, we have fuel now. I did put a bit extra fuel for the go around in case we have to. That's 6.3. So let's put 6.3 in here. Perfect. Taxi out 200. Trip fuel 2,400. Set the fuel. Done. So fuel is good. We have the weights now, performance in it. So 61.7 reserves. Reserves is 2.8 for Athens. Cost index. Flight plan says cost index 49. Cruise was 260. The temperature up there is minus 39. So we have minus 39. Execute, and the wind is about 260 at 20. There we go. That looks about right. So I guess I don't even know if the wind requests work. Oh, the wind is in. No, hang on. No, that's the average wind. That probably won't work either. Oh, really? What, you think it's the... Oh, hang on. But wasn't that on... Hold on. No, that's correct. And I have 2506 AIRAC on SimBrief. That should be correct as well, right? Yeah, it is. Current cycle 2506. Yeah. No, that's all the same. That's as it should be. All right. Anyways, almost there. So I'm going to put 7,000 in here. The runway heading is 059. We'll do the same here. 059. You know, regarding those flight sim shows, I've been on many shows now. In Cosford, Lelystad I've been to this year as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to Providence this year. And I know the excitement, and you know, as always, those events are of course useful because of all of the media attention from all the potential customers. That's all good and well, right? And then a lot of hype being created and promises being made, etc., etc. So it's a normal kind of more things going on there. So, but as always, right? We are seasoned flight simmers. We will just wait and see what happens once the whatever is hardware, software, whatever is actually released. Don't FOMO in, all right? So Foxtrot Juliet. Yeah, Foxtrot Juliet. Here we go. Search. So we'll take 6 left. Condition is dry. And then we said the current weather is 040 at, let's say, 5 or 3 meters per second. Then we have 24. QNH is 1012. The weight is good. We'll take takeoff 1. That should be fine. Flaps 5. Air conditioning on. Anti-ice off. Let's calculate that. Adverts? Oh, sorry. So we'll have that, and then 67.7 should be correct. Yeah. And then we'll just enter those values there. So we have takeoff 1, and it says we want 39 selected. Then we have flaps 5. Oh. Huh? Trim? What's happened to the weight and balance? Ah, there, 2020, 22.9. Now we got it. So speeds 39, 40, 49. 149. Perfect. Alrighty. 149. Good. Terrain, traffic. Actually, let me then let's get that to RTO. We have packs on, yaw damper on, clear for hydraulics, and then we'll check the oxygen. Okay, so taxi out. Quick briefing, taxi out. Pushback. Actually, let me just have a look where we are. Parking stands. There we go. So we go apron, Romeo, Delta. Delta, full length by Juliet, holding point 06 left, departure. The IFCUS 1 Juliet, according to these waypoints. Oops. These waypoints will take Juliet, Fox Juliet 050, max to 40, 1800 above, correct. Then 061, between 7 and 4. Then PayPack, then we have 062, 10,000 above, correct. For Big C, 068, VATSO, Apnin. Then we have, Ritku, Mifty, and IFCUS. Initial climb 7,000. Terrain 5345 to the south, but according to our flight route, no problems with the terrain. That sounds good. Alrighty. No control here ATC wise, so let me just put 1 to 2.8 in here, and we'll have the VOR. Anything special here? Yeah, 108.8. Oh, Mark, I'm not sure if you're here, Mark. You remember that VHF radio panel we talked about? I did receive it, but I have not found any drivers for the Mobi flight. So unfortunately, can't get it to work, which is quite annoying. Right, transponder. Hello. Is there also a setting here for a VATSIM system page regarding avionics? I'm wondering because I've just tried to get the transponder to work. Oh, that has to be on. That's why. Yeah, that's why. Okay, it's working now. Cool. Transponder is on. Fantastic. Excellent. So let's have a look at the checklists. 737 normal checklist. So pre-flight checklist. Oxygen test 100%. Navigation transfer display switches is normal auto. Window heat is on. We have pressurization mode selector auto. Flight instruments, we have heading 328, altimeter 1012, 320 feet. Park and brake is set, and the engine start lever is cut off, and that's the pre-flight checklist complete. Right, let's do the items. Just have a forward entry door still open, system page, menu. Doors close. We'll have the anti-collision light on. All doors are now closed. So before start to the line, fuel, we have 6,300 kilograms pumps on. Passenger signs are on. We have MCP V2149 heading 059 out at 7,000. Takeoff speeds, we have 139 VR140 V2149 with 83.2%. CD pre-flight completed. Rudder aileron trim free and 0. And we have the taxi takeoff briefing completed. Below the line, flight deck door is closed and locked. The doors are closed, anti-collision light is on, and that's the before start checklist complete.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Hang on. Come on. Push to talk. Come on.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Aviation traffic. Turkish 7347 is pushing back. Stand 204. There's probably no one here, but you never know. Hey Dennis, yeah, I'm doing well. Today is the first day really where I've started feeling much better. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday was really bad. Tuesday I had fever. And yeah, yesterday still some cramps yesterday. So not nice, to be honest. But today is, yeah, I just saw that. Look. I did catch that, Bruno. Oh, and hang on, this as well, right? Angle of attack. Let's do quick edit. Well, my doctor said it's a bacterial infection, so not really food poisoning, traditional sense. So it was more like where it affected the intestines, and not so much what you normally have. You know, symptoms when you have food poisoning, right? You have to throw up. I didn't have to throw up. It's just I felt sick sometimes, but cramps were terrible, stomach cramps. And diarrhea, so those two things. And Dennis, I don't know. I honestly don't know if it's an hotel. I'm happy that it didn't happen during the flight. So it happened more just as I got home. What's that heat? What is that heat blur? That must have been APU or something weird. Right, let's get the packs off. Good pressure. Start engine one. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Captain Black Box.
And SFO Book, thank you much for the 2 months.
New subscribers should now pick up their past first class. Thank you.
Yeah, that would have made some news, right? Imagine that. So wait for the motoring to disappear. But the thing is, so you guys know, on Sunday, just prior to our departure, we got news that the USA was bombing Iran. And we already had a routing over the Indian Ocean, Saudi Arabia, and then Egypt, Greece, then back to Frankfurt. And the problem was that as we got over Saudi Arabia, there was a couple of sectors being declared for us as no-fly zones. So we then got messages that it could happen that we may have to reroute further west because of those closures. And there the problem was that we did have some extra fuel, but the detour was becoming so big that potentially we could have been forced to refuel somewhere. But luckily, it didn't happen. And so that didn't happen, luckily, and but it was a kind of a nail biter, to be honest. Do you get extra rest when you... Well, you can call in sick, right? You can get to a doctor, you can get a sick leave confirmation. And then, you know, you relieve from duty until you're fit again.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
I'll look in gear.
Yeah, Mustafa, I mean, I remember my long-range days when I was on the 747, like 2-3 times a year, I would bring home something from those trips. South America, India, Africa, it just happens. Well, there's quite a lot of standby duty. I have frequent standby duty as well, so there's quite a lot of standby pilots available. So first generators, that remains, that is good. Go APU bleed off, then packs auto, isolation valve auto.
Left is clear, right is clear.
Continuous, and then we'll set the flaps to 5. And then we'll do a flight control check. Hey Tevers! Really, they've actually spare crew just in case someone gets ill, really? So that's actually one of my worries, is that, you know, especially the cockpit crew members, one of them falls ill, that potentially you can't... Right, all clear. That we can't return, so that the flight has to be cancelled, right? But on my, you know, during my career, I've literally had it maybe once or twice. If I can't remember a situation where we actually had that issue, but it can happen, of course, yeah. So let's read the before taxi checklist. Generators on, probe heat on, anti-ice off, isolation valve auto. We have engine start switches continuous. Oh, hang on. Somebody contacted me? Oh yeah, somebody was actually, there we go. So then we've got recall check, auto brake, RTO. We have start levels, idle 10, flight controls checked, and ground equipment clear. Let's go. Gökçen traffic, Turkish 7347 taxiing 06 left. Yeah, right. Yeah, but my wife, she's used to that. I mean, she knows that there's always a risk of me coming home sick. So, I mean, the amount of things I've brought home with like COVID and cold or flu or it's just it doesn't end, right? So that's just part of the job, really. So cabin is ready. Let's read the before takeoff checklist. Flaps, we have 5 green light. Trim is 5.4700, and that's the before takeoff checklist completed. Yeah, somebody was on a previous stream, somebody asked me if I was worried about flying the 787, so potentially, you know, some bigger electric issue, because that's a speculation right now, isn't it? So those experts, they dug up some old documents with these technical notices where apparently there could be a potential electric problem if you left the aircraft running for like 30 days or more without a full reset. But to my knowledge, that is like 10 years ago. And with software updates, this has already been solved. So I would be really surprised if that actually would be one of the problems causing that. So again, I'm just going to sit tight and wait the official report. Oh, and one thing I've seen is that apparently a first report has to be out within 30 days. Oh, pretty fast taxi here. So the black boxes have been read out apparently. I read on Aviation Herald today. So now it's just a matter of getting everything analyzed and then and then we'll wait and see. So is this the right exit here? Juliet. Don't know. Is that that's not full length, is it? Hang on. It is Juliet. Yeah. Yeah. So we will get a preliminary report soon, and then we'll know more. And then, you know, if there's anything drastic coming out there, then my company will react accordingly. Winning doing a tiller? Too late, I already bought mine. But not surprised, Tavros. Right, approach sector is clear. Gökçen traffic, Turkish 7347 lining up, departing 6 left in Gökçen. Strobes on. Cabin crew prepare for departure. TARA. And then we are ready. Oh, there's traffic there on this side. Ah. Aha. Gotcha. That's why. Let's go. Takeoff. Oh, we should put this to on. And 1. Thrust set. 80 knots checked. Thomas, yeah. E1, rotate. And we're airborne. Pause rate, gear up. LNAF. Oh, I forgot to use the Alright, LNAF, ENAF speed. Let's accelerate. Flaps on. And flaps up. So I'm going to chase that little circle there with the aircraft here, aircraft symbol. So what we could do is actually go init, index, performance, N1 limit. Let's go climb 2. So let's climb 260. Actually, let's put the autopilot on. Let's get some nice views here. Hey, hello, hello. Where's my? Excuse me. Ah, nice. Hey, Lolo Radar. Thanks for the raid. And a big shout out to Lolo. Check out their streams, please. Thank you much, Emmy, and yeah, schönen Urlaub. And we'll talk to you regarding some tips for camping. So bigger Istanbul region is behind us there. So that's the Gökçen airport, and then the international airports are way, way further north. So there we go, 7,000. Now we've got 26,000. We'll read the after takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds are on. Packs are auto. Landing gear is up, and the flaps up. And that's the after takeoff checklist completed. Hey, how are you, Mario? Look at that. Beautiful. Nice. Yeah, and I do plan to make my own video once the official report is out, because I'm definitely interested in the technical aspects, and since I am rated on the 787, I'm going to try to get into contact with Styx Aviation to see, because he's a mechanic also rated on a 787. See if I get some more insights from him. And then, yeah, we'll clear up with some of these rumors and stupid speculative, you know, comments that we had. Beautiful weather, look at that, no clouds whatsoever. Yeah, so Avenger Orion, that's another thing, of course, I was thinking about, right? So, and that's a good question. So what happens if they find something in a worst case, which I don't think will happen, but let's say worst case, they find something, a flaw, an issue that has to be fixed, and then the FAA grounds all the aircraft, all the 787s. Well, that would definitely affect me as well then, right? But I will, you know, I will think about this when I get to it. There we go. Let's get headphones on. Oh, that's nice and quiet. No, I'm not running SU3. I always just run the stable versions. Oh, really? So apparently India blocked a UN investigator from assisting in the probe due to criticism over the data delays. Okay. That's a bit strange, but okay. But when you're on standby and you get activated, is that usually a normal phone call? Yeah. Yeah, so normally when I'm on standby duty, it's definitely a phone call. What happens though sometimes, I mean, we have an app, a kind of a work app, and so often I will see a change in my duty plan via that app, and then nevertheless they do have to call me, so I do get activated via voice. Yeah, Caleb, absolutely, no doubt. Oh, no, beautiful. If the FAA grounds all the 787s, then the EASA would follow, yeah, for sure. Yeah, right, Tavas, that is a nice view. And that's the old airport right there. That's the old Istanbul airport. That's the new one there in the distance. Screenshot time, exactly. Really, Mustafa, it's only 5 minutes from your house. We used to have a hotel, so I think we stayed somewhere here. Because we could see the airport from the hotel. It wasn't. It must have been here somewhere. Yeah. Oh, those shaking sounds. I think I have to install my RealTurb. Yeah, it is RealTurb. Yeah, I closed it now. It should be. Hippopotamus. No, it's not hippopotamus, no. Yeah, Voyager, absolutely. And that's why I don't know. So I have it kind of in inner resistance to believe that it was something that's a design flaw. I have a feeling. Well, I'm not going to speculate, but let's just say that I have a hard time believing that it's a design flaw that just now popped up after how many years? More than 10 years, 15 years, with so many 787s flying around. Is there a crossword tutorial for the Boeing? Well, so, I mean, in principle, it's the same technique, but there's one difference in aircraft that don't have fly-by-wire. And that is that when you decrab the aircraft, you have to also enter some aileron input and keep that to keep the aircraft from getting lifted by the wind, or get wing lifted by one of the get one wing lifted by the wind. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, so 2009 was the first flight. So imagine, right, 16 years. Yeah, and Oliver, and what we do, we keep that input. So let me just do that. So what we do is we decrab the aircraft and then add aileron, right? So we do a little bit of side slip, and so we keep that input touchdown. And then even after touchdown, we keep that input until the spoiler's deployed, until we get to about 80 knots, let's say. And then we can put the ailerons back to neutral. So you don't do that in an Airbus, because an Airbus will continue to roll if you continue to put side stick input, right, aileron input in that. So that's why the Airbus has a different technique compared to the standard, the non-fly-by-wire aircraft. Or disable the sounds. I have to do that in the config file, though, right? Yeah. A bûche bouton. Oui, oui. Hang on, hang on. Where's my... Hang on. I think it's this command.
This is a push button aircraft.
Oui, oui. All right, so... Let's get airports in here. Nice. What's with these sunshades? Hang on. Or window shades. There we go. Thank you. Oh yeah, there was another interesting engine failure. An American, it wasn't Airbus, wasn't it? And it had a kind of a surge, engine surge, or probably, well, it was, I would say it's an engine surge. So not a failure per se. So it probably still produced some thrust, and it was flying along with the gear extended for quite some time. And of course, all those desktop experts and then came out and say, the pilots forgot to raise the landing gear. And yeah, I mean, it shouldn't happen, but I mean, if you startled, and if it happens exactly, let's say in the rotation where you're fighting with the control of the aircraft and the yaw moment, and there the really crucial thing there is that the pilot monitoring gives out that positive rate call out, because that's always the trigger for then the pilot flying to say gear up, right? So it's like if both then are kind of startled and don't do their normal kind of call outs and monitoring, then it can happen quickly that you forget to raise the landing gear. Completely understandable. The problem is, though, if it's a real engine failure where you lose 50% of your thrust, then potentially, depending on the obstacle situation, potentially you could then risk your obstacle clearance. Simon, no. Honestly, my ears are completely worn out in that regard. So I have absolutely zero problems getting the pressure equalized in my ears. So even if I have a cold, yeah, I have literally no problems. Hey, Romac, thank you so much. Romac, yes, I'm a real-world pilot. Let me just... I'm not flexing. It's just for the facts, okay? Just so you know a bit of background. What I've been flying IRL. There we go. And yes, I'm a normal human being. I see myself as a completely normal person. I don't think I'm special. I just have the occupation of an airline pilot, and I enjoy it. It's been a great career, but again, I'm not, you know, I don't see myself in any ways special. Okay. And here on this channel, I just really like the fact that I can interact with people that have, you know, the aviation bug, if you like, if they really, you know, they love aviation, and you know, they love chatting to someone who's got some background infos. And you know, for me, it kind of virtually opens this door, right? Because normally, I mean, this is in the real aircraft is always closed, so all my passengers never get to see this, right? So, Brett's son, yeah. Yeah, so that's why I have a feeling that sometimes, yeah, that's why people ask me, oh, you know, you're retiring, and but you know, aren't you going to miss flying? And so I have a feeling that some people, some pilots, are probably a bit afraid of losing that status, right? Because then you're not a pilot anymore, right? You've been a pilot, but people normally not interested that much if you have been a pilot. But what's more interesting if you are still a pilot, right? That's much more interesting. So we'll see what happens once I retire. But I'll continue to fly. I'm going to fly some, you know, Cessnas. That's the plan. So I'll stay active, you know, with flying, but not commercially anymore. What an airliner flying attracts you? For me, I find it quite boring. Yeah, so I mean. So I had the option to go military as well. I passed all the tests for the German Air Force. My father was a starfighter and a tornado pilot, so I actually wanted to follow his footsteps. But he, at some point, said to me, you know, it's things have changed so much in the German military that it's just not as attractive anymore. And so, what I like about airline flying is that you get a lot of responsibility. You get the chance to meet many different people, so your crew members, and fly to many different interesting destinations, so worldwide, short range, long range. So yeah, that's really the attraction for me. So when people ask me, but aren't you going to miss flying? Well, I am, but it's more the aspect of the people that I work with. I'm going to miss the people.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black
Hey,
Box
Simon
container
or Simon, thank you so much.
New
That's really kind.
subscribers should now pick up their pass to first class. Thank you.
Simon, that's really kind of you. Thanks to Twitch Prime and welcome to our community. Thank you so much for that. If you have any questions, Simon, do not hesitate to ask us. We have a Discord channel, if you don't already know, and you can link this subscription with my Discord. You get access to the subscriber channels there. And as always, if you have a question, don't hesitate to private message me either, or ask questions here. Always happy to answer. Yeah, so people, yeah, so also for me, what I like about airline flying is that every day, even if you fly the same routings, every day is just different, because you may have different crew on board, the weather is different, sometimes... Oh, the tower in Samos? Oh, you're right. Thanks so much. Thank you so much for the heads up. I appreciate it. Yeah, so again, you know, there's so many aspects, but it's more the human side, the challenges that comes from that. Leading a team. So for me, especially as a captain, what I've always find really cool is that, you know, for me as a commander, as a team leader, I'm able to influence many different things on board of an aircraft. So that's always been really cool. And that's why I'm gonna miss the people around me when working. But flying itself, hand flying, especially the 787, honestly, the 787 from the systems, great aircraft, but hand flying is extremely easy in the 787. I don't see that as a challenge. So the 737, that was an aircraft that really was challenging you. The 320 already with its augmentation, yeah, less challenge. And then the 787, man, did they really optimized the fly-by-wire with that aircraft. Really cool. Yeah, so Bretson, yeah, good point. Yeah, you know, Bretson, I talked about that. When I was a first officer, back in those days, 1995, yeah, this door was always open during the flight. People could just walk into the flight deck at any time. Well, I mean, as long as the seatbelt signs were off, right? So when the seatbelt signs were off, you could just, you know, you would probably politely ask one of the flight attendants, is it okay if I step into the flight deck? And yeah, you could just walk in and say, hello, is the autopilot flying? That was usually the first question. Is the autopilot flying? Yes. So, yeah, but you know, communications were a lot easier then. Can I have a go? No. Oh, we forgot these. So I remember that was so funny. I was like I said, I was the first officer, and then a little kid comes in, like, you know, 7 or 8 years old, and so he just looks around the cockpit, and then he asks the captain, "Excuse me, where's the gun trigger?" The captain goes, "You what? The trigger for the guns." And the captain says, "Get out." Oh, that was funny. That had me laugh. Get out. Yeah, he thought we had guns on board, right? So, yeah. But I mean, you know, back then it's just, you know, you had conversations, right? And I remember also one day I was flying home, so I was commuting back to Bremen, and it was a 737. I was sitting somewhere here on one of these seats, and it was a horrible storm, a horrible storm in Bremen, and the turbulence was absolutely crazy, thrown around, you know, and the door was open. So people were like hanging right over the seat here, looking into the flight deck, and what you could see is just, you know, the strong arms of the captain moving those thrust levers. And then, no joke, you saw the runway like go from middle, then you just saw Earth. Next thing you knew, you just saw sky or clouds, right? And then you would see Earth again, and then you would see runway, and then the clouds again, right? You just go up and down. But you just saw the calm movements of the captain's hands and arms, right? manipulating the thrust levers. And he greased the landing, and yeah, people going wild. Because then, yeah, they could see what's going on the flight deck, right? They could see that, you know, there's pros sitting here, dealing with it. Yeah, and I would have, you know, I always prefer to sit in the front here compared to being being a passenger. Now, I'm wondering, now, if the first officer hangs his shirt into the closet here, how is he sitting there? Like bare top? I mean, you know, what? Doesn't make sense. Immersion ruined. he's showing his muscles, yeah. He's showing his strong arms. Yeah. Oh, that's a changing shirt. Ah, I see. So you have this shirt. So when you leave the aircraft, you have a fresh shirt, right? It doesn't smell of sweat. Ah, I get it. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll accept that as an excuse. Yeah, exactly. After sweaty landing in storm, right? Yeah. Yeah, and then 9/11 changed everything, right? Yeah. That's just how it went. Cool, let's have a look for the ATIS. So we do have ATIS in Samos. Thank you so much for that. Information Alpha. Runway 09, fantastic. Transition levels 85. That means I can put this in VNAV. Descend forecast 085. And I'm not going to bother with the wind because the wind isn't much really. So then we have 1006 at 33 degrees. Wow, that's a really hot night in Samos. That's really warm. 106. Let's pre-dial that here as well. Yes, Dennis. Yeah. So I already have everything set up. So I have a new mount that I can fix to the seat. And I already have a this was quite cool actually. My senior first officer on my last flight, and it doesn't happen often these days, but he had his last flight on the 787, and he's actually moving to become a captain. And I remember that I was in the same situation in 2007 when I had my last flight on the 747. And then I went on to captain's training on the 737. And I remember that after the flight, when all the passengers had deboarded, the captain had everyone gather together, and the captain held a speech. And I found that really, really nice. And then, everybody, saluted, and we had a small drink, and then it was great. So I thought, well, now it's my turn as a captain. Now it's my turn to do that. And so we organized during the layover, we organized presents for him. I made a little speech. And so after the flight, I made my speech, and we gave him a good send-off, which hopefully he'll remember, just like I've remembered my send-off back then. So that's really cool. That's one of those memorable moments. yeah. So you know what? So Duff, you're right, Rob. You're right. I've actually done that. I've actually So 787, just like 737, 747. You don't have a table. So sitting there with the you know, plates on your lap, and then yeah, I actually dropped some food on my shirt. Oh god. Oh, it looked horrible. Yeah, that was embarrassing. So yeah, you know what? That's actually okay. I stand corrected. So this is actually a good idea. So now I'm just wondering. So let's say I bring one spare shirt on board with me and hang that in the closet. I'm just wondering what my first officers, the look my first officer would give me. Because I've never seen that. I've never seen that. Anyone do that? Well, not on a 787. That was more an A320 and 737 boss. Hey, Scrapman. Back in 2020, you made the hard career choice against flying. Can't say I regret it looking back. You're not engineer. Congratulations. Yeah, Scrapman, and I think you made a right choice because you have to be 100% certain, right? You're not allowed to have any doubts becoming an airline pilot, and it just shows me you've done your, you know, your due diligence in looking at pros and cons of an airline pilot job, and then you made the choice. And I'm saying that these days, I mean, look at all the you know, the private aircraft, so Cessnas and Comanches, whatever. Look at the state-of-the-art cockpit they have these days, or the Diamonds and so on, right? I mean, Garmin 3000, you name it, right? Absolute high tech. And if you really want to, well, go and get your IFR rating as well. All right, so you know, you have the options to still enjoy flying. Yeah. The cockpit becomes a dressing room, yeah. Now, one thing I do have sometimes, obviously, I have people, you know, if the first officer wants to loosen their tie or even take the tie off here in the flight deck, I have no objections, right? Now, of course, if they go outside and potentially a passenger sees them, then I would ask them to put their tie on again, right? To meet that expected, you know, dress code. But here in the flight deck, yeah, I don't mind people taking off their ties. Yeah, and again, I find it's a bit of a shame right now that we have so few, you know, transitions from co-pilot to captain. That was the first time on the 787 that I had that happen. Yeah. Ludwig Country's Air Force basically okay. That's a shame. Yeah. Yeah, Romac. Thanks for watching. Take care. And thanks for the subscription. Good, so we got the weather. Tower, I'll pre-select 129.85. Yeah, we'll do that later. So now, minimum is visual, although, I mean, we have to fly the VOR approach first. So let me show you that. So that's the arrival routing, the 1 Charlie. So we have that arc, and that's just 7,000 above. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change one thing, because last time I missed that, and that kind of got me into a little bit of trouble. So let me enter not 3,000 above here. Yeah, so that's the 188 radial there, right? 9 miles. N, probably the 9th letter of the alphabet, so that's 188 degrees. So let me enter that as 3,000 at. And then we're going to start a descent now. Let me get that down to 7,000. going to fly this with VSD on, and we'll fly that with VNAV path. Cool. Yeah, so I'm going to fly the arc, then onto that VOR approach, 357 inbound. 357 inbound. I'm going to dial in the Samos VOR. That is 111.6. Huh? There we go. And then what else? Drag required? No, it should be fine. Yeah, it's difficult to predict developments. They're so economically sensitive. So, you know, a lot will depend on how the economy fares over the next years. If the economy just chugs on without any bigger disturbances, then I assume the demand for pilots will be big, huge. Oh, really? So scrap, man. You came back from a 5-year break from flight simming. Well, then wow, all right. I mean, careful speed. I'm gonna get some speed brakes out. So yeah, definitely some changes, right? No, he's going to cargo 777 into the captain's training. So just coming back into path. Speed is coming back. Right, and then let me just get the landing performance calculations here. So show landing, show en route landing, Samos. Runway 09, condition dry. We have 360. It's a big crosswind. It's gonna be interesting. Let me just put that there. 5. Temperature 33. 1006. Excellent. Okay, so then the landing weight will take 65.5. Five knots additional on VREF. We'll have all operative reverse. We'll do flat 40. Air conditioning on. Anti-ice off. Brakes. Let's do 3. And then let's calculate that. So we need 1800 meters with autobrake 3, and we have 2044. So that's enough. We'll take that. 3. Speed brakes in. And alrighty. Yeah, so energy management obviously is important on this approach. So here I want to be 3000 at this point and maybe 210 knots. So what I could do as well to help me with the energy management planning, so let me put 210 and 3000 there. Yeah, and then I'll you know, configure the flaps 5 at least. So minimums would be officially 1900, but you know, by experience, I mean, if the weather's so good, we know it's kind of a continuous descent. So I'm not going to go with any minimums. Airbus UFB froze. Okay. Hey, Tober. What was the most difficult weather conditions you've ever experienced? Usually, it would be thunderstorms, but one of the landings that sticks out was a 50-knot wind in Amsterdam. Luckily, it wasn't crosswind, so it was wind pretty much headwind on, but the turbulences was crazy. I mean, that was like really seriously, you know, on the edge of your seat. And then we had a takeoff in a typhoon. So the typhoon in Hong Kong had passed, but it was still like 60 knots wind. But again, not crosswind, right? You have your limits with the crosswinds. Yeah, but thunderstorms, poof. Then go-arounds and diversions. Yeah. No, so Duff depends on the airline. It's not a daft question at all. So this is you know, nutrition for the pilots is very important. So my company rules state that I, as a pilot, have to make sure that my blood sugar level is always adequate. And it says that I should eat something at least every 6 hours to stay and drink. So to stay hydrated and to stay, you know, so that I don't have a problem with the blood sugar levels. All right. Roger that. Call you passing 3,000 on the tower. Will do. It's a bit wonky here with the arrival routing. Yeah, so now we pilots, we have the option to order something from catering. We have to pay for that, but we get a discounted price. But there's a certain menu selection, even, you know, vegan, vegetarian, whatever, to choose from, or you would simply just speculate on some leftovers. So, you know, a lot of flights have catered more food than passengers will eat. So you know, you potentially have some leftovers. And there's the airport there. And then you know, you would have that. So that's 15 miles. Yeah, okay. No, so Aviamar, I mean, so our 787s don't have first class, right? So I know from aircraft that have first class, if there's something available, then yes, potentially, you know, it's, so these things are shared amongst all of the crew. So for me as a captain as well, I want to make sure that my crew also has the chance to have some proper food. All right, so normally flight attendants or pursers will make sure that it's distributed, you know, evenly and fairly between cabin and cockpit crews. And usually that works out perfectly nice, right? Perfectly well. But like I said, you know, I often will actually order something from catering as a, you know, a pre-ordering menu. And also what I do is usually I eat something before I fly. And then on board, I don't eat heavy stuff. I usually just eat salad and a starter, if anything. So again, you know, have a good meal before the flight. And then during the flight, I'll have something that doesn't really make me too full. It's just a personal preference. Because for me, if I eat something really heavy, so I have a big meal, I get really tired. So I you know, I just don't like that. So usually when I eat something like a, what's good is if you can move around. So if you can go for a long walk or something. Well, if you're flying, if you're strapped to the seat, well, you can't really move much, can you? So for me, logic is I don't eat any heavy foods, right? There you go, 7,000. Samos traffic. Turkish 7347 is on the ARC, approaching Deluxe at 7,000 feet for the VOR09 in Samos. Yeah, Aviamar, and that's just it, right? Everybody has to look at their own preferences and then just make. Well, but I mean, the main thing is that you stay hydrated and that you don't get low blood sugar levels. That is something you have to always remember. That's really, really important. Hey, Premium, once again, thank you so much. They call Chicago the Windy City, but Adam sure is breezy. Amsterdam. Yeah, Amsterdam is breezy. Yeah, absolutely. Right, getting a bit faster. Let's get some speed brakes out. Torber, there's some standouts. So there's some standout cities. Vancouver, to name one. I used to like JFK, so New York, because of the... yeah, just the buzz. And then Cape Town. Really enjoyed that. Short range. I loved Bergen. I loved Nice. I loved, of course, Lisbon and Porto. Wow, I was really diving down trying to meet that was a bit late descent. Yeah, I guess it's my fault. Really screaming down on that path. Full speed brakes. GG's. Yeah. So really need to slow down here. Let's get to tower frequency. Samos Tower, good evening from Turkish 7347 in the turn to final for the VOR09.
Yeah, so Turkish 7347, I have the large size, wind 360 want to know the runway 09 at land.
Thank you so much, runway 09 cleared land, Turkish 7347.
Thank you.
Hey V-Chris, 96 month, good God. V-Chris,
closer to 100.
how we are.
Retirement capper.
We are, right, I'll hold. Thank you so much, V-Chris, for your support. Thanks for being here. I hope you're doing well, V-Chris. Flaps 1. So I'm going to put 1900 in here. So let's have a look for the raw data, looking good. Oh man, those speed brakes, keep forgetting them. All right, let's go flaps 5. Any stance preferences? In front of the main building would be nice. So here comes flaps. Oh, flaps. What? 10. There we go. So the heading bug, I'm going to already get to the missed approach heading. And let's do 10 reference speed here. So, yeah, all good on purpose. And so what we're going to aim for is 1,000 feet here. We're going to turn towards a village there, and then you see the greenhouse there. That's about 450 feet. Now, usually I would...
2,500.
Jesus Christ, that's loud. Oh, hang on, I know why. So normally I would put in some fancy markings on the display. Right, let's get autopilot off. Flight directors off. Flight path vector on. Manual thrust. Oh, come on. And let's put 3000 for the missed approach. We're already cleared to land, which is nice. Yeah, Vancouver is a lovely city. Yeah, absolutely. That was great. Right, guys, I'm afraid I can't show the yoke cam because I'm afraid it's going to crash OBS. I have to see what's causing those crashes. Right, gears coming down. Flaps 15. Flaps 20. Flaps 25. And flaps 40.
1000.
Careful not to get too low here. Right, speed brakes armed. 1000 is checked. And then we'll do the landing checklist. We have... oh, I know what I forgot. I was talking too much. Get carried away again. There you go. So we have VREF 137 and Minus visual. And we got continuous. There's that little village there. Start switch is continuous. We have the landing gear down 3 green, flaps 40, green light, speed brakes armed, landing checklist completed, clear to land. Bit of crosswind. So now it's all about controlling that final turn, not descending too fast and not too slow. Trying to get that prediction error correct. Looking for the greenhouse. Come on, probably a bit overshoot here.
400.
Well, there we go. A little overshoot, but on path, which is nice.
300. 200. 100. 50.
So rudder.
30.
Aileron input.
20. 10.
Come on. There we go. Not too much flare. Speed brakes up. Reverse is normal. Oh, speed brake was on up. I had the speed brakes up, didn't I? Manual brakes. Manual brakes. It is a cool approach, absolutely. So okay, so Turkish 7347. That was a bit quiet. Could you repeat, please?
Of course, 77347, backtrack runway 09, taxi via Alpha 3, left of Alpha, start number 8.
Okay, wonderful. Backtrack, then Alpha 3, the Alpha apron, and then stand number 8. Thank you much. And thanks for the service. Much appreciated from Turkish 7347. That's really kind. That's really, really nice. I feel really, really privileged for these lovely people to come online and allow us to have ATC. Thank you so much for that. So Alpha. And then we'll get GSX. GSX, stand number 8. There's number 8. Scrapman, gute Nacht. No, Alpha, no. So the 737 MAX, to my knowledge, does not have fly-by-wire. So it cannot give you that same feeling. And I think if the 737 MAX had fly-by-wire, you would have to do a different type rating. The spoilers are fly-by-wire. Okay, but I mean, if it's only the spoilers, yeah, but if that's the only thing really, then, you know, it's not really the flight controls. I mean, the spoilers are flight controls, yes. But, you're right. Whoops. I just saw the Marshaller and I thought of the Marshaller. So let's see. Let's reposition. Oh, thank you so much. Well, why did you guide me into the wrong parking position then, for crying out loud? What a meme. TSX guides me into the wrong parking spot and then says you've parked at the wrong... Like, seriously. Oh, right. Oh, TSX. Always good for some memes. Hey, Dusty, nice to see you. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, much better now. So let's do these items. Do that. I'm wondering, was that like maybe a marshaller? Oh, there we go. Got someone coming in here. Look at this. So someone's flying along. Let's see how he performs. Looking good. Lined up. Now just guide the aircraft in on the parpies. Yeah, wondering if that was Microsoft ground handling or something. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe Chris, you did? Oh, hang on. Yeah, a bit of crosswind. You can see the crosswind there, the crab angle. And let's decrab. And touchdown. Yeah, nice. GG's. That's a 321. Oh, wow. Ooh. Definitely pushing the performance regarding landing distance. So, GG's. But nice landing. Good approach. GG's. Yeah, so this airport, so one thing I found really weird, so this is a new M&M Samos scenery. Is that the actual, well, it's like a, okay, now I can see it's like a board. So it's Fraport, the Fraport simmer. But this looked so weird. That looks so cheap from this side. But I guess now it makes sense. Yeah, that, okay, it makes sense. Disregard then. All right, so here we got tower. That look, okay. But yeah, look at that. Tower is modeled. Nice. The thing is though, is this landing approved at nighttime? It is? Really? Wow. Yeah, that is hard to believe. I mean, it's a pure visual approach. And, I mean, I wouldn't take these infos. I mean, I would have to look at some real-world charts. But, so the thing is that during nighttime, what is absolutely vitally important is that all the obstacles and the approach path are lighted. So if you go to nighttime, I mean, I don't know. Pwah. Wow. Okay. Wow, that's because that's the little village with the pier. That's the other village you have to aim for. But how does the green... Well, I guess the greenhouse would be lighted at night, correct? Well, I mean, if it's like if it's like lighted, like in the Netherlands, then sure, I'm sure that you would see the glass house at nighttime. But honestly, F6 doesn't work for me, strangely enough. Oh, hang on. Ah, it does work. Yeah, disregard. Just press it. So as you keep pressing it, then it goes faster. Thank you for the tip. Yeah, but honestly, look at the nighttime. Oh, that would really scare me, to be honest. Yeah, thanks for the tip. I didn't know that with the F5, F6 button. That would really freak me out. I mean, you're like, 405 feet above the ground. And doing, 30-degree bank. Wow. Hey, have an organ. Yeah, exactly. GG's. Yeah, maybe I need a new profile for the Samos airport. I have to search again. Okay, Avenger says there's actually a 737 MAX 8 landing scheduled. But hang on, 12 p.m. is that? You mean like, but 12 p.m. could be after normal, like noontime, right? Are you sure that's
Reporting requested.
That's like midnight? Are you sure? Oops. So let's go system page. Go around. Hang on. Let's do that. Doors open. There you go.
Passengers bus is coming.
Yeah, but even I think 19 or 2000 is probably still pretty much light. No, so I'm afraid I'm gonna have to go to bed as well now. So Apostolos, thank you so much for the controlling. Thank you so much. That was really kind of you. And yeah, I hope to see you again soon here on Samos. Airbus, that good. GG's. Nice. Yeah, my landing, let's see. My landing was probably somewhat worse. Let's check the landing rate was minus 359. People felt that landing for sure. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. Now, as well, mighty moderators, thanks for staying on so long. I wish everyone a lovely weekend, and I'll be back on Sunday. Sunday we'll do some more flying.
Good night, Black Box. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. And again, thanks so much for the support, guys. See you again very soon. Stay safe. Stay well. Aviamar, thank you so much. Cool. See you soon.
Good night, Black Box.
Good night.